It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey everyone, Steph Beckett here at CEDIA Expo and Commercial Integrator Expo 2024. We're on day 2 of the show. Very excited to be here. We are on the CIX side right now, so I could give you guys kind of a chance to see what that looks like. Pretty busy show. It seems like the biggest and busiest CEDIA Expo / CIX that I have ever attended. But let's go ahead and get into the guests today. I'm really excited to introduce Kevin Learman of L-Acoustics to you guys. Come on over, Kevin.
Hi, Steph.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
First of all, tell me a little bit about what L-Acoustics is doing here at the show.
Yeah, so at L-Acoustics in our booth, we have a wonderful Atmos setup. We're showing off especially our new X6i and X8i speakers, using those for the surround and the height channels, paired with our Soka and SB10 subwoofers for the front 3 channels, and our Seva subs powering the LFE. So it's quite an experience.
It's very cool, and I'm excited because I got to go to the demo center at QAV with you guys and check out that amazing demo in person. And something that I was really excited to learn was that you guys don't have a residential line. You are using the same products that people know and love in the commercial channel because you guys are so well known in that industry and live events and all of that. And you're taking that, putting it in the home, so you get that amazing experience.
Yeah, and it's not so much the commercial channel as the touring and the pro audio channel. So we use the exact same speakers and amplification that your favorite artist entrusts us with to connect to their audiences. So it's a really unique experience. These are concert grade speakers, concert grade amplification and DSP. We use the same software to design somebody's home theater or their backyard that we do to design the Coachella Festival or the Royal Opera Hall in Vienna. So it's quite sophisticated, it's quite amazing, and it's truly a different experience. I encourage anybody here to come by our booth so they can experience it for themselves.
Nice. So I'm coming from more of the commercial AV side, and that's who most of our readers are. We do have residential readers, but what I've learned a lot at this show is how conversations are different between manufacturers and CIs than they are with integrators from the commercial industry. Is this, do you feel like conversations are different? Because it seems like CIs, this was their dream job, and every single thing that they are specifying is something that they are so excited to do, which just seems a little bit different.
Well, there are definitely similarities. I've come from the residential side, so I went to my first Infocom earlier this year, so I did notice some of those differences. There is definitely a lot of passion in the CI channel for particular aspects of what they integrate and for particular product lines. I think they're always trying to deliver the best possible experience for their clients, and there are a lot of brands and a lot of possibilities to choose from. So CEDIA is a wonderful opportunity for them to come and be able to experience all of those different things for themselves, to either find new products or confirm existing beliefs.
And something else that I thought was interesting is that we're seeing a trend right now of CIs kind of starting to dabble in commercial a little bit. Do you think that that is a cool opportunity for you all? Because, like you said, you don't have separate lines of products.
Right.
If they know your product already as a residential integrator and they get a commercial job, they're like, hey, I already know what can work in here.
Absolutely. So we do work with a lot of commercial integrators as well, designing large restaurants, designing stadiums, those sorts of things. But the CIs on the residential side who find these projects are often doing that through relationships. The person whose home they do also owns a company and they want their boardroom updated, or a coffee shop or something like that. So very often these projects are different from what the larger CIs are doing in the commercial channel. And so it opens up a wider footprint for us, and it gives us all an opportunity to make a bigger impact into that market.
Awesome. Well, my last question I have for you, Kevin, is where can people find more information about L-Acoustics?
Oh, that's easy. You can go to our website, which is www.l-acoustics.com, and we've got a plethora of information there, from our history to white papers that we've developed, scientific white papers, and information on all of our products.
Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for letting me come see the demo center earlier this week. I had so much fun.
Awesome. Steph, thank you for this opportunity to speak to your audience.
Of course. Have a good rest of the show.
You too.
All right. Next up, I am going to have Tim Albright come and join me. Hi, Tim.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic.
First of all, tell me a little bit about what this show has been like for you, because you and I are both coming from, we are journalists, but we come from publications that traditionally lean a little more commercial.
Absolutely.
So what's this show been like for you?
So first started coming to the show, right? It was, what is this industry, what does this part of the market have to show the commercial side? And one of the first things it does is it leans into that experience side for the corporate client, because yes, corporate can do distributed audio, right, in ceiling speakers. What you're not going to see on the commercial side are beautiful speakers, right? And that's what you're going to find here. You're going to find some innovations when it comes to the aesthetics. You're going to find some innovations when it comes to the experience of the actual client.
Yeah. Have you talked to many CIs since you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a number of folks here. There are several, the biggest ones in the world, as well as folks that are here locally, and they're coming here for a couple of different reasons. Obviously, you've got the CI side, and if you didn't get a chance to make it to InfoComm, this would be a good spot for that. But they're also looking for the kind of that crossover product, or that crossover part of the market where they are trying to give their client something a little bit more than just your traditional commercial AV product.
Okay, because I feel like, and Jason McGraw talked to me a little bit about this, where he says that we're seeing more residential integrators start to just kind of dip their toes in commercial.
I would disagree with that.
Okay.
There's not a few of them, and then they're not dipping their toes. Ever since the 2008 recession, right? Residential dealers have been in the commercial space. I do not care how you label that, whether that's light commercial, semi-commercial, whatever. If it's not in your house, it's commercial, right? So that is, I have written about this, I have talked about this online, where I am a big believer in resi-mercial. I have made no bones about that. I have gotten into spirited discussions with people of like, no, you're silly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, the 2008 recession showed the residential dealer, hey, you have to expand your portfolio. You have to go beyond that. And so we're finding residential dealers that are getting into restaurants, that are getting into doctor's offices and lawyers' offices and dentist offices. Again, my definition of resi-commercial is if it's not your house, then it's commercial.
Yeah.
And they are wholly into that.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective to take. I haven't talked to many CIs, so I don't know for myself, but that's like very interesting and probably very true, because in the recession, who was outfitting their houses with?
Yeah, nobody was. And if they were doing it what was called stealth upgrades,
Okay.
right? You didn't want to broadcast the fact that you were upgrading your $1 million home theater because people were having issues. Everybody was out of a job. People were losing their homes, and so if you were doing some sort of home upgrade, you were doing it kind of, under the table.
On the low.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas today, there is a little bit more of positivity when it comes to the economy, when it comes to people upgrading your house. So knock yourself out, right? Put in a home theater, put it in whatever you want. But they are also, that residential dealer is also getting more into commercial.
Okay. Do you think that is why we're seeing companies like L-Acoustics and Planar who just have their product? They don't have a residential line and a commercial line. It's just this product?
It makes a lot of sense for them, right? You've got folks that will delineate, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is our residential line. This is our commercial line. But I like especially what L-Acoustics does and Planar too, where this is our line. Mm-hmm. You can use it wherever you want.
I think that makes life easy, because if then this is an integrator who specs both things, they already know it. They know how it works, know where it's going to fit, because they know the product in and out. At least I hope they would.
Well, yeah, and only that, but it also helps with serviceability, with your technicians, right? You don't have to train them on 3 different SKUs of, let's say, a direct view LED, or 3 different SKUs of a speaker. We all know what this is, right? Yeah. Today we're putting it into somebody's corporate boardroom. Tomorrow we're putting it into a theater.
Okay, kind of taking a shift here. Have you been super impressed? Has any product on the floor completely blown you away?
I'm a big fan of the Quantum LED.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that. You just went to that press breakfast, right? How was that?
It was amazing. It's it's taking direct view LED, which you and I both have covered. I'm a big fan of it. It just has a lot of positives, and they are pushing and putting that into high-end home theaters. And I'm talking screening rooms. I'm talking the CEO referenced the Burbank the Burbank tour, which is these are folks who have access to movies before they come out, and they want a quality cinema experience in their home. And what DirectView LED allows them to do, a couple of different things. It allows them to do, obviously, the blacks are blacker than you're going to get on a projection, right? They can adjust contrast ratio. They can adjust the aspect ratio on the fly without having anything else like that. And it's all geared towards that digital cinema experience.
Okay, I have a follow-up question for you. Have you heard of this company? I'd heard of them, but I had never had a chance to go see them before. Waterfall Audio?
I actually at ISC this year.
Yeah.
The first time. And it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are tower speakers built for, your house, and they are built out of glass.
Yeah. And it's a French company, right?
Yeah.
So I just like talking to the guy, the owner.
Yes.
But yeah, he has some engineering, which is way smarter than me.
And patented.
Yeah, patented, because typically you wouldn't build a speaker out of glass because of the acoustics and because it would mess it up. And he's figured out something. Yeah,
insane.
yeah. So he's figured out a way to do it.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I have a picture of it, but of course you really have to listen to it to fully understand, because I was looking at it, I was like, this is beautiful. And they were like, don't say that yet, let us play it for you. So then they turned it on and I was like, how? Yeah, because you look at it, and again, you and I have been in this industry long enough that you look at that and go, that's not going to work. Yeah.
Right, that's just not. And you play it and you're like, okay, that's gorgeous.
Yes. Because for those of you who are watching who are also home AV tinkerers, if you have ever opened up your tower speaker that you have at your house, what's inside that plastic driver? It's foam.
Yeah.
Because that dampens it so it doesn't have crazy reverb for the outer shell, which is typically wood or plastic.
Yeah, absolutely, because the wood and the plastic, the wood will absorb some of that, and then you're right, it has some sort of insulation to help with that reverb.
Yeah. So for it to be made of glass and sound amazing, absolutely incredible. So definitely check out Waterfall Audio. Is there anything else?
One of the kind of the overarching is there's a lot of home theaters and a lot of home theater products this year as opposed to the last few years.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, it was smart home everything, right? It kind of felt like that was the theme of the show. I would say this year's theme, if I had to, and this is day 2, is audio.
Yeah.
Audio, quality audio, and home theater audio. And I'm going this afternoon to go to the Trinov demo, right?
Cool.
With a barcode projector and all this stuff. And that is one of the more popular ones that I heard all day yesterday. You have to go check this out. You have to go check this out. So I'm doing this afternoon. Nice.
Okay, well, you have to let me know how that is. Right. I feel like I never get to go, and it's the last day, and then the line's on the street. So you just can experience it for the both of us. Let me know how it is.
All right, I will.
All right, last question I have for you, Tim, is where can people find more information about AV Nation?
avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.
All right. Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate you. My last guest of today's episode of rAVe TV is Mark Peterson from Shen, Milsom & Wilkie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So my first question for you is have you ever been to a CEDIA Expo before, or is this your first one?
Long ago, I think I went to one. But yes, let's call it the first one.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what that has been like.
Sure. So, when you get into the floor, the first thing I typically do when I see a large floor is I'm going to start on the edges and work my way through, zigzag, right? How else are you going to cover the thing? And initially, I was seeing a lot of lighting, a lot of shades, a lot of lights, and then I started seeing products that were really interesting. One of the first ones out of the box was a subwoofer mounted between studs that was isolating the mounting process so that it wasn't vibrating in the studs. That kind of technology and innovation is something that I could take back to my commercial market where we don't have enough room for subs, right? Some of the subs in this industry are massive subs, and they're building theaters that are intentionally to do that. So to create innovations where they're in-wall subs that don't vibrate was one of the first things. And then as I moved towards the core center of the show floor, I started to see a lot of the brands I'm familiar with. And then as I took off at a whole nother level, first of all, a lot of people, a lot of interest, a lot of lines waiting to see things and experiencing them. And there were 2 other impactful parts of this. One was, what I expected, but just confirmed the aesthetic requirements. A lot of the commercial market is moving towards the aesthetic value, right? As people are coming back to work, they want to work in a space that is a beautiful space. And there's intent to have displays and audio and video really integrated into the technology. And one of the things that you see here in this kind of industry marketplace is that importance of the aesthetic value and being able to take it back. The other thing I saw was unique control capabilities, unique taking artists and people that are a little bit outside of the commercial area and how they're doing interfaces and what does the user interface look like. But I was complicated by the amount of stacking of manufacturers on top of each other, buyer on top of buyer on top of a buyer. So, you see Control 4 had a speaker system and then Control 4 was bought. So you got this, a little disconcerted about the number of layers of distributor and products, which lost my identity. Whereas I'm more familiar with going right to the brand and having those conversations directly with the brands.
It is almost like a barrier to entry.
Yes, a little bit of barrier to entry, yeah.
So coming from, someone who comes from mostly the commercial side, is there anything that you think that you saw on the show floor that you think that the commercial side of our industry can learn from the residential side?
Well, yeah, as I said, the aesthetics, the coordination of the aesthetics, and the quality of the audio and the sound system. I heard several of the ceiling speakers and performance audio that are able to be mounted into ceiling, and I think those capabilities are impactful. On the reverse side, if you ask me the other question is, what am I not seeing? Mm-hmm. One of the first things is there's no sustainability, right?
Yeah.
If you look at products, and the same manufacturers, LG, Samsung, their number one message is about make their products sustainable. There's nothing here about sustainability. It may be because you're dealing with one-to-one, one client, one buyer, and so the value isn't there, which just is kind of a concern for me because this is the kind of place where you really need to think about, where does all this stuff go when you build a new house, and what's the circularity on that? Because that's something I didn't see.
I wonder if they're just trying to frame it in a different way. If they're like, oh, look, you can make your smart home, you can do all this with control, and then also it makes it more sustainable because you can set it to that when you leave, all of this shuts off. Yes, yeah. So I wonder if they're just framing it for customers as a value add rather than at the forefront.
Well, yeah, from an energy perspective, there's a lot more energy management strategies here, and a lot more of that boutique customization of the experience. But from a larger sense of circularity, like where's that metal go? Where's this display? What kind of hardware am I going to build? So instead of being it out of walnut, it's out of bamboo. I'm not even seeing that, right?
Yeah.
The messaging here is more about. It still continues to be about the right product for the right customer, the right tonality, and the right experience. And the image branding that we see from a company side, which says we're going to make our brand associated with ecological messages, that's not here.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of the people that are buying these products are multimillionaires and billionaires who do have a sense of purpose of what's going on. So what that tells me is that messaging and what's happening in sustainability is yet to really permeate the market, and therefore I can see manufacturers struggle to see how am I going to compete if only this kind of market is really taking advantage of that opportunity and others aren't.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you mentioned seeing that sub that you really liked. Are there any other products on the show floor that really stood out to you, and do you have a favorite?
Well, I thought Storm Audio was kind of interesting. Storm Audio was in several of the experience booths. So the Sony CLED was probably one of the most beautiful installations. But when you're getting into these scenarios, it isn't just the video, it is the audio and the video and the experience. And some of the companies that did that well, Storm Audio, I think Elements, was the speaker manufacturer, and using the compression drivers, I think was also very good. And the quality of the sound and also the amount of sound booths, the amount of people listening. There's a lot of people that are waiting to listen and hear the experience. Be able to take that back. I think there's Sonance, I think was another one.
All right, my last question for you, Mark, is where can people find more information on Shen Melson Wilkie?
Sure, Mark M. Peterson at smwllc.com. Shen Melson Wilkie LLC.com would be where you find us.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a good rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, I am going to go get set. I'm going to give you a show floor tour of the second part of CEDIA Expo. So I'm going to go get set up. I'll be right back. And don't forget, in the meantime, you can go to ravepubs.com/CEDIA Expo or ravepubs.com/CIX to check out all of our coverage of both those shows. We are uploading product videos as we speak, so check those out. Hey everyone, Steph Beckett here. I'm excited to show you another piece of the CEDIA Expo show floor. So we're going to kind of walk through the Innovation Hub. A lot of these are brand new companies, never been to this show before, companies that I have not even heard of that maybe are just not currently in the integration channel but want to be. So we're going to learn a little bit about those companies together. So here we have an outdoor TV company. This is Mirage Vision, claiming to be the world's most high-tech outdoor TV. They're weatherproof and they're offering up to 40% dealer margins. So kind of important for selling in the channel. But yeah, pretty cool. So let's keep walking down here. People are busy and gathered around to check out this. So we're going to pass this really quick. This is the, I think, Paradigm booth. Don't know a ton about this company, but yeah, we're just kind of learning together. Here is the launch pad. Like I said earlier, these are companies that are not necessarily in the AV channel, but want to be. Brand new at CEDIA this year, so a little bit of smaller booths here, but again, they're brand new. So we have a water management company right over here. This is Wint. So this is software basically to help you mitigate water damage impact. We have a WYSIWYG user interface creator here, which is with Avigator. And I'm actually really excited. I saw this booth earlier. This is ASC. So what they do is they track, they say people, packages, and pets. So you see these carpet pads here. There's technology under that that can turn lights on and off. They can track where you're stepping. They can track all types of things. So basically you can use that to make your smart home a little bit smarter. You can make it so that when you step on it, it turns lights on and off, turns your TV on and off. It can also, let you know when there's a package at your front door. You can put it in your garage. There's one that can make a beep so that if you roll over it with your car, it makes a beep so that you can, not hit your garage wall. Some people do that. Sorry, Abby. Continuing on, we're going to walk over here. We have analog devices. We've got a couple more speaker companies here as we're kind of getting out of that new company hub. So these invisible concert sound from your walls over here, which is pretty cool at Revox. So we have Starscape, which is the custom kind of wall fiber that can go in your home theater. These are very frequently in ceilings of home theaters just to kind of give that sparkly, relaxing, very cool effect in your home theater, very cute. So there are a few companies like this here, but I actually really like that these have multiple fabric options and colors. So let's continue walking here. We've got a couple more speaker companies. Oh, and look, a rAVe video shooter in the wild over here at Alfred, which is a door lock and security, home security company. So they do have multi-tenant options, but that's going to be your keypad on your door in your apartment, in your home. So they're very elegant, and they're also a Z-Wave Alliance member, so that explains why they're here. Smart Technologies is also here. They brought one of their IFPs to the show. So these are companies that, we know very well in the pro channel, but maybe not so much in the residential channel. So it makes a lot of sense that they're here. So let's continue on. We're going to make our way over to the smart stage if we can get there. So continuing on, just, it's kind of cool checking out companies that you don't necessarily know a lot about, or ones that you've never seen before. So let's just keep it moving here. So it looks like we have got some acoustical textured wall panels here. I actually really like this. I think that's beautiful. Acoustic panels are actually really ugly normally. So anytime a company thinks outside the box and makes them a little prettier while still having that like sound masking effect, I think it's really cool. This company, I think also, they do some printed digital walls as well. So take a look at that. It's actually a very crisp and pretty picture. So very neat. Let's keep moving. Over here. Oh yeah, I want to go over by Kaleidoscape. Kaleidoscape is a company that I first heard of maybe a couple years ago, but it has only gotten more popular with all of the theater and home cinema demos that are happening here and around this show. All of them are going to be using Kaleidoscape because people who care about having a home theater and take the time to put Dolby in their theater, who take the time to put a really nice high-end projector and subs and everything that you really need and like acoustic walls in their home theater, they're probably going to want to watch their movies uncompressed, which means it is absolutely lossless audio that rattles and shakes you as you're watching the movie. A gorgeous, gorgeous picture. So as you can see, this is a huge file, so it makes sense that you would want to use this platform or a media player rather than streaming something on your Apple TV, on Netflix. You're just not going to be able to get the same picture or get the same sound. So the only thing is that it does take a bit to download this once you have purchased it. So it's going to be one of those things where you download your movie the night before you actually want to watch it. So because it does take like probably 6 hours to download a movie, but think about how big of a file that is. You can't do that in a few seconds. So it's not for those people who want the instant gratification of just quickly turning on a movie, but it is for the people who want to watch their movie in the most perfect conditions possible. So Doorbird is over here too. They're another company that does your door locks, multi-tenant options, single residence options. So they have this one here that he's standing by. They can do printing at the top to cut it into the metal, where they've done the San Francisco version. So that's going to be for like your apartment building, multi-tenant. They have camera options that they can include, or they can just include the keypad. So they're pretty big. They've gotten bigger here in the CEDIA channel. So let's keep walking. Hunter Douglas is also here with all of its shading options. I want to say Hunter Douglas was the first shading company that I saw here that did really, really focused wellness lighting. So these are a few of their shading options, but they were really, really focused on diffusing daylight and all of that with the Aura illuminated shades that they introduced. It was either last year or the year before, but it basically diffuses daylight. It can make it look like daylight when it's not. It's kind of for those people who suffer from seasonal depression, so that you can still make it look like it's a sunny day outside behind your blinds. I want to say that's what they're running this demo of in here, is the Aura illuminated shades. So I can get Abby to just like kind of give you guys a little bit of a look of what is in there. So yeah, we're going to end our tour over here at the Smart Stage because CEDIA Expo is running all types of educational content throughout the show. So I don't think they have one right now, but if you download the QR code you see behind me, you can see all of the talks that they are giving. They're giving some today, some tomorrow, and I think maybe a couple even on the last day. So that is this section of the CEDIA Expo show floor. Thank you for watching, and thanks for watching rAVe TV. We'll see you next time.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.